Coming up next, the days-long cleanup after a line of deadly severe storms tore through western and central Pennsylvania. We have the latest on the damage and power outages.
Plus, a week after the world said goodbye to Pope Francis, the process to select a new pope begins in the coming days. We look at what's next.
And Pennsylvania's struggle to find enough volunteer firefighters. See how one local fire company is dealing with the challenge. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon. I'm Derek Stilley.
And I'm Mackenzie Bruns. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, the cleanup continues, but power is still out for thousands across central PA today after a line of strong storms roared through the state on Tuesday and again last night. Right now, about 3,900 customers are without power in Center County. The storms this week also turned deadly. Reporter Hannah Newar is live with the latest. Hannah?
Thanks, Mackenzie. I'm here just a few blocks away from University Drive, where 22-year-old Bryce Lohman was killed after he came in contact with live electrical wires. Center County is still recovering from the storm damages that came from high winds and heavy rainfall.
Trees and power lines down, roads closed, more than 400,000 customers without power across the state. That's what Tuesday's line of severe storms left behind. In Center County, power was out to more than 35,000 customers after the storm, including a large part of downtown State College. For some, the outage lasted for days, including for some Penn State students during the final week of classes.
We lost power for 2 days, and it came on last night, but when we came outside, because we heard people like, yay, the power's on, this was still sparking, and a power line went down, and then emergency crews came last night, but our power is still on, so.
Steele says his house wasn't affected, but neighbors experienced damage to their vehicles and downed power lines.
Our house wasn't too bad, but our neighbor's car got pretty messed up. A window was broken, and then there was a tree on the power line. It was kind of a mess.
Alpha Fire Company's Rob Neese says the impact was widespread.
We've seen similar storms, but I was actually talking to another one of our chiefs this morning. And it is extremely uncommon for us to have multiple storms that bring this sort of call volume.
3 people in Pennsylvania died in the storms, including a 22-year-old in State College, electrocuted from live power lines.
There was an employee at a local hotel who noticed that there was a fire beginning in some mulch, and in an attempt to extinguish the fire, came in contact with some power lines that had fallen down in the area.
Road closures and stoplight outages also affected traffic around the area. Cleanup crews have been working all week to clear roads and repair damage.
I would tell people to be patient. Power companies are working as quick as they can.
As you can see here, trees have been sliced in half and the branches are covering some of the sidewalk. Over here, we can see the original trunk with wood protruding out of it. Center County was not the only area that was impacted by storm damages, but other areas in Pennsylvania as well. We'll check in with them in just a moment. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Hannah. Western PA also took a hard hit from the storms. In the Pittsburgh area, visibility dropped to almost zero for drivers as heavy rain swept through and flooded roads. High wind sent trees tumbling onto homes and decks. Duquesne Light Power Company called the damage unprecedented. The utility brought in about 400 people to help restore electricity. A 67-year-old man was killed by a fallen tree at a home in Ross Township, and another man was electrocuted by live wires in Pittsburgh and died on the scene.
So what was it about these particular storms that led to so much destruction? Our weather anchor Matthew Howard is here to give us more context. Matthew?
Thank you, Mackenzie. We actually saw widespread swaths of damaging winds across central Pennsylvania, but this storm system it still caused problems even as far south as Indiana. You can really take this out into time and see that it moves more north and east and really causing a widespread swath of damaging winds all the way through Ohio and central Pennsylvania, but really dying out as it moves north and east into eastern Pennsylvania. That line really holding strong for over 12 hours, which is actually quite insane. And you can see here, actually, we have widespread wind damage actually indicated in the blue. And we have that long-lasting significant wind. We actually can define this as a derecho, and that's actually what ended up being the case in the story across Ohio, Indiana, and even parts of Pennsylvania. So we actually saw winds up to 70 to 80 miles per hour, causing widespread damage, trees down, and even a lot of damage. And you can really see that here with our wind gusts of actually getting over 60 miles per hour on campus. That was actually enough to knock down some power, knock down some tree branches, but really over 100 miles per hour in some locations, knocking down a cell tower. Thank you, and back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Matthew. Firefighters have been very busy this week responding to storm damage calls, but volunteer fire departments across the country are struggling to find new members, and that includes right here in central Pennsylvania. Carson Schuler shows you how one local fire company is hoping a community event will help.
At Alpha Fire Company in downtown State College, the trucks are ready, the gear is prepped, but the number of volunteers is falling short compared to previous years. The reasons are not surprising.
We already have so much going on, and for someone to take the time that would essentially equate to a part-time job and make some extra money for their family, we're asking them to give us their time and energy to volunteer.
Alpha Fire Company is hosting an open house on May 10th, hoping to bring in fresh faces as departments statewide face a volunteer shortage.
So we're in a much better spot than a lot of the state and a lot of the country. Volunteerism is certainly down, and it has been declining over the decades. So this isn't a new problem, but it is becoming critical all over the state, all over the country.
In the U.S., there are about 676,000 volunteer firefighters, representing roughly 65% of all firefighters. That number has dropped from 897,000 in 1984, the first year the National Fire Protection Association began tracking the numbers.
I'm here outside the Alpha Fire Company in downtown State College. With fewer people volunteering than ever before to be firefighters, stations like this one are turning to community events, like the open house on May 10th, to recruit the next generation of firefighters.
Visitors will get a chance to tour the station, check out the gear, and even try out some of the equipment. But for James Pletcher, the message is bigger than just showing off the trucks.
That's our biggest issue, is we have such a turnover every 3 or 4 years. We would love to see more of our local community members join up, just so that we have something to kind of offset that consistent churn every 3 or 4 years when people graduate.
They say the job is rewarding, and that anyone with time and commitment can learn how to serve.
The fire company gives you a wealth of knowledge that you may not have had otherwise. It gives you a pool of resources outside of just being able to call 911 in emergencies.
In State College, I'm Carson Schuler for the Center County Report.
Alpha Fire Company says no prior experience is needed to volunteer, just a willingness to serve. You can learn more about how to get involved on their website or by stopping by the open house next Saturday.
A preliminary hearing for the suspect in an alleged school attack plot has been postponed. Investigators say State College High was the intended target of an attack using bombs and a hit list. 20-year-old Braden Phillips is charged in the case. He's charged with conspiracy to commit murder and is being held without bail. His next court appearance was set for Wednesday, but the court postponed because of local power outages.
The Bellefonte Area School Board has appointed a new member to serve the remainder of an unfinished term. Holly Hopkins was chosen from 5 candidates to serve the rest of the term held by Jack Beschel II. He resigned after being arrested for allegedly assaulting his girlfriend. Hopkins is also running a write-in campaign for nomination in the May 20th primary election for a 4th term on the school board. Her appointed term will end in December.
Construction is moving ahead on an $89 million renovation project at Penn State. Crews are renovating the Sackett building on the University Park campus. It's scheduled for the completion in 2027. Once known as the main engineering building, Sackett will have 2 new wings, interior updates, and safer pedestrian access. The project will also add 12 general-purpose classrooms and expand office space for the College of Engineering.
The process to select the new pope begins next week in Rome. That's more than 2 weeks after Pope Francis's death. Isabel Charbonneau has more on the upcoming conclave.
When Pope Francis died last month, it began a series of centuries-old ceremonies and rituals, from his funeral last week to the upcoming conclave to choose a new leader for Catholics around the world. That conclave starts next week as more than 130 eligible cardinals from around the world meet in secrecy in Vatican City.
So I think there'll be a focus on the papacy in that way, out of mourning a leader and then a curiosity of who the next leader is.
The cardinals will be sequestered in the Sistine Chapel and will vote in secret. a 2/3 majority is required to select a new pope. If there's no majority, more rounds of voting will continue until someone is chosen. Each round of voting ends with the ballots being burned and black smoke billowing from the chapel's chimney. When white smoke appears, it signals a new pope has been chosen. Though the last conclaves in 2005 and 2013 took just 2 days, the process could take longer.
It's a process that nobody wants to rush, and in this case, I don't think it will be rushed.
Of the eligible cardinals, Pope Francis appointed 80% of them, meaning this is their first conclave. The makeup of this College of Cardinals is diverse and includes liberal and traditionalist cardinals. For the first time in history, fewer than half of those who will vote are European. I'm Isabel Charbonneau for the Center County Report.
When the new pope is chosen, he'll be presented from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to deliver his first blessing to the world.
We've talked a lot about weather today. What's in the forecast this weekend? We'll check coming up.
And apple juice is being recalled in 28 states, including here in Pennsylvania. Also coming up, the deadline is almost here for a new requirement to get on a plane. Are you ready? The story after the break. The deadline is almost here for travelers to get their real ID in Pennsylvania. Starting next Wednesday, residents will need their state-issued real ID or another form of federally accepted identification like a passport or military ID to board any domestic commercial flight, enter a military base, or federal facilities that require ID.
Getting a real ID in Pennsylvania is optional, but if you want to continue to use your driver's license or identification card to fly domestically instead of a passport, you'll need to get one before May 7th or before your first flight after that date.
More than 2.6 million Pennsylvanians have gotten a real ID driver's license or ID card since they became available in the state in 2019.
A popular apple juice brand is recalling more than 170,000 bottles across 28 states, including Pennsylvania. The FDA says Martinelli's apple juice bottles may contain elevated levels of patalin, a toxin produced by mold that can grow in apples. The affected products are 10-ounce glass bottles with the white metal screw-top lids. So far, there are no reports of anyone getting sick.
We've seen showers and storms over the past couple of days, and that will continue to be the story as you go into today. Looking right now at Beaver Stadium, we're seeing mostly cloudy skies right now, and we're actually seeing those temperatures start to climb a little bit in the low 70s. But really you can see what's noticeable right now is that wind at 15 miles per hour, and it's also feeling a tad bit muggy outside as well. Across the region right now, you can really see near 80 in Harrisburg, but as you go a little bit more west, you can see temperatures in the low 70s. As we zoom out a little bit more where we have cloud cover, we're still hanging in the 60s right now. Taking a look at our radar and satellite, we have mainly clear conditions, partly cloudy skies, but you can see a little bit in that northwestern part of the state. You can see a few showers starting to work their way in, and that will continue to be the case as we go throughout the next 12 to 24 hours. We have a low pressure system out to our north that actually yesterday where we saw some of those showers and storms, that warm front was accompanying with it. And we'll start to see multiple rounds of showers and storms through the coming days. If you're going to move on tonight, be prepared for the chance of some showers and storms. It will be mainly dry for the most part, but temperatures will be in the mid 70s, a little bit breezy at time, and maybe be prepared from some of that rain. Looking at our severe weather outlook today, we have a slight risk actually out in western Pennsylvania, marginal risk in central Pennsylvania. So chance for a strong storm or two cannot be ruled out, but a little bit more isolated than it could be. And we'll time that out all for you today. We're going to actually see partly to mostly cloudy skies throughout the afternoon and evening, but really going to see is that cloud cover increasing, and especially tomorrow we're going to see more shower activity. Some showers and thunderstorms cannot be ruled out. Maybe a locally strong storm can be possible. Greatest chance will be for some damaging winds. And will be a little bit cooler than it was today, but that rain will not be lasting all day. Taking a look at today's forecast, we're going to be sitting into the upper 70s with a slight chance of a PM shower or storm. And tonight, we're going to be dipping down to the upper 50s with some storms possible early. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we're really going to be seeing more muggy conditions just about every single day, chance of showers and storms. And we're actually going to be sitting in the 70s just about every day. So still going to be widespread rain going into the weekend, but won't be raining the whole time.
Yeah, I'm praying for sunshine, no rain.
The rain might be good news for some really devastating news in New Jersey. Forecasters hope weekend rain showers will help put out a wildfire in Ocean County, New Jersey, that's burned more than 15,000 acres, and a 19-year-old is facing criminal charges for starting it. Joseph Kling faces arson charges after investigators say he set a bonfire that wasn't properly extinguished. The fire quickly spread, forcing thousands of evacuations and destroying at least one commercial building. Officials say it's one of the largest wildfires in New Jersey in 2 decades. Now to sports with Allie.
Coming up next in sports, Penn State's hockey coach looks back on a wild season that led to the Frozen Four. Also coming up, Penn State's men's volleyball begins what they hope will be a deep tournament run. We take a look. I'm Allie Winskowski with sports. The Penn State men's volleyball team will play Damien University tonight in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The Nittany Lions beat Princeton to end the regular season, then beat them again in the EIVA tournament for Penn State's 3rd straight EIVA title. Sophomore Michael Schwab was named the tournament's most outstanding player, hitting 9 aces. Tonight's game is in Amherst, New York. Penn State baseball is back on the field tonight to start a 3-game series against Maryland at Medler Field. The Nittany Lions are coming off of a huge 14-4 win against Rider on Wednesday. The Lions still have a winning record this season. They're 26-17 so far, with 2 weeks left in the regular season. The Penn State season for men's hockey was one for the record books. From their mid-season struggles to the Frozen Four, Kiara Baker has more on their journey.
Expectations were high, but the first half of the hockey season was a serious low for Penn State hockey. The team started winless in the first 9 conference games.
We always thought we were pretty good, and we still thought that through the lows, although the results just weren't coming.
Then a turnaround happened. The Nittany Lions had a hot second half and made the NCAA tournament.
So, we always felt this was possible. We really did.
The Lions made a playoff push and secured their first ever berth in the Frozen Four. Boston University ended their run in the national semifinals, but the team is proud of its culture and ultimate season success.
We weren't able to bring in any new players. It was done by them, the team, refocusing and focusing on values, but refocusing what they did in their commitment to the team and to each other. And that's how it was done, which is basically culture, right?
Penn State finished with its highest ranking in program history at number 5. The team wants to continue to build off of this season. This week, Coach Gal Godowski reflected on the team's mindset, recalling what the players said about the future approach to big moments.
They were saying that the next time, if we're fortunate enough to get there, we have to turn it into less of a celebration and more of an opportunity. I liked how they put that.
Penn State men's hockey has set a new standard for its program. From here at Pagula Ice Arena, it's clear that the future of Nittany Lion hockey is brighter than ever. In University Park, I'm Kiara Baker for the Center County Report.
Penn State football has wrapped up spring ball. Next up will be summer workouts and then August training camp. The blue-white game last weekend marked the end of spring practice. Many fans had questions about the wide receivers and got to see some new faces at Beaver Stadium when Devontae Ross and Kyron Hudson made their Penn State debuts. Also on Saturday, Penn State added its 3rd wide receiver from the transfer portal in Trevor Pena. He was an all-ACC selection at Syracuse.
But then obviously you guys really got your first look at Hudson and Ross. And both of those guys we think have very, very bright futures. But we're going to need competition throughout the entire room.
The season will be here before you know it. The first game is August 30th at home against Nevada. The NFL Draft is officially coming to Pittsburgh next year. After stops in Detroit and Green Bay, the league's biggest off-season event will take over Point State Park and Acrisure Stadium, bringing fan experiences, concerts, and the draft itself to Steel City. The Philadelphia Eagles continued their victory celebration this week as they took a trip to the White House. The Super Bowl champs decided to attend the White House ceremony and meet President Trump. But some players were missing because of what they called scheduling conflicts.
Those missing players included quarterback Jalen Hurts and wide receivers A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. That's all for sports, Mackenzie and Derek. And just today, the Eagles are starting their season with mini rookie camp.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited to see what defensive coordinator Vic Fangio could do with Jahad Campbell in that system.
Yeah, I've been an Eagles girl born and raised, so I'm happy to hear that news.
Go Birds.
Thanks, Allie. Coming up next, it's a highlight of the end of Penn State's school year. We'll check in live to preview a big event happening later today.
Penn State's annual music festival, Moving On, is celebrating its 50th anniversary tonight on campus. Reporter Sarah Grosh is live in University Park with more on the event. Sarah?
Derek, Moving On starts in a few hours here at the IM Fields. It's a free student-run music festival that happens every spring and draws thousands. This year, All American Rejects are the headliners. In the past, it's hosted big names like Jack Harlow in 2022 and Walk the Moon and Dayglow. Gates are set to open at 3:30 and the festival will kick off with Fez, a band made up of Penn State students. Other performers include Claire Rosenkrantz, Baby Tate, and Pusha T. Now we're watching the weather for later. There could be thunderstorms, so be aware if you're out here. Penn State police say Park Ave and other roads will be congested this afternoon because of the concert. Live in University Park, I'm Sarah Grosh for the Center County Report. Back to you, Derek.
Thanks, Sarah. That's all for today's newscast, our final broadcast of the semester. A new team will be here in the fall. Mac, how do you feel about that?
I am so sad, let me tell you, but you can still follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report X, and you can see our stories on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a good weekend and a safe and happy summer.